What's up, Real Cap Talk? It's Corey.
And it's Mike.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, just the holidays, but this is actually our first holiday show. Like last year during the season one, we didn't really do a holiday show, really because we weren't doing the Zoom. We was pretty much using the school's equipment. So when the school got out, it was pretty much done. So this is our first holiday show. So happy New Year's, man! I'm hoping that 2021 is a much better year. What you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. You can't get any worse, right? Cross your fingers. So,
Yeah, knock on some wood or something. Hopefully, man, if 2021 is worse than 2020, we might have some trouble.
no, yeah. So pretty much today what we got is like kind of like a New Year's special show. The NBA season just kind of started.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3 or 4 games in, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much by now. We'll give you our predictions, and then we'll wrap you up on what's going around the NFL as that season
Yeah,
up before we start the playoffs. Then we got a special guest. What do you want to tell them about our guest?
yeah. So, special guest is a Texas Tech alum, and he is, he's up and coming. And when I say up and coming, like, he's been on a grind. His social media following is shooting up. He's been working hard. I keep in contact with him every now and then. Of course, watch all the shows, and so one thing I will say about him is that he takes his craft serious. He is a reporter, or really, I'm just say a sports journalist. I'm not going to really uh, limit him at a reporter. He's a sports journalist. He does his own podcast, and he's had some interesting guests on there. So we appreciate him for taking his time out to come talk with us. I knew him at Tech a little bit, hooped with him at the rec a few times, and so you know, he a pretty cool dude, even outside of what he does. But he's a great guy, works hard, and is one person that I can undoubtedly say you'll see him big somewhere pretty soon. He's pretty much growing and growing.
Cool. All right, so let's start it off. I'm gonna pull up my notes. We got our answers for this predictions that we got. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have all the awards, go down the list, and Corey's gonna give you his list, and then well, actually, that's stupid. What we can do is we'll go by award, and then we'll go Corey's pick and my pick, and then next award, Corey's pick.
Okay. I gave him this list too, so he has his own.
Okay.
He has his list too. So special guest is you gonna bring him in?
Yep. Pop him in. Give it a sec. It takes like a couple minutes.
There it goes. My guy, happy New Year's to you and your family. Hope everything's been well with you guys. And so this is who I was talking about. We'll give you let you introduce yourself too.
What's up, guys? I'm Tobias Bass. I went to school with Texas Tech with Corey. I'm a sports journalist, man. Just the best business to be in. It's a lot of fun. Doesn't really seem like work. You just get to talk about sports all day. It's not work at all. You just get to wake up every day and just see what's going on in the world today and just cover sports.
Yeah, best job in America. I feel like it is. But we're going to get started right with these NBA predictions. So I guess we'll go like that. I guess I'll give mine first. And then Mike, then you can give yours. You give yours last. And so my MVP predictions, I got Luka and Dame, 1A and 1B. Luka and Dame. Luka just got a ton of production, especially with KP being hurt and stuff like that. Luka gonna take over games. And then Dame speaks for itself, even though they will lose a few games more than an MVP will lose most of the time. Because most of the time, MVP is always, top 3 or 4 in rankings. And I don't see the Trailblazers in that spot, but you'll have these stretches where Dame just goes off for 40 and 50 times. Yeah. So.
Yeah, can't disagree with those. I'm gonna back you up with the Luka one. I think Dame has a shot at it, but I think mine's Luka right now. After coming off the bubble, playing the way he did in the bubble, and just being the guy another year. Luka, from his rookie year to his second year, grew so much, and if he keeps staying on that, it's gonna be crazy what he's gonna look like in his third year. So I don't think it's the wrong answer. Who you got, Tobias?
Luka's a good pick. I mean, they started out kind of slow. He'll get back on track. I'm not really worried about him going forward, but I want to pick KD. I think they're gonna be probably the best, the second best team in the East. I want to pick KD. I think that's a fun pick to pick. And then of course with the West, I'm gonna pick LeBron. I mean it's LeBron. He should have won it last year. They didn't give it to him. They're starting off slow per se. I think they're 500, but the Lakers are the best team in the way. They just got to get their chemistry together and they'll be fine.
Yeah, I think the Lakers will finish as the number one seed. Um,
Yeah,
I had LeBron in the third spot, but I think the only thing I'll see from LeBron different is he'll probably rest more this year than
yeah,
the off
yeah,
season was so short. Um, same for KD. I think KD's gonna rest a little bit too, and that's why I don't really have
yeah. You
the
man, it's true.
in that MVP talk.
Yep.
But
Yep.
what scares me about Luka is he's been terrible from behind the three.
Yeah. He's not in
Terrible.
shape. He even said he's not in shape so far. But far as the resting, I think guys are gonna rest, but they're playing 10 games less a year. That's gonna make a
Mm-hmm.
big difference. It's not gonna matter right now, but when you get to game like 50,
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna matter because especially with that playing tournament, I think even teams you're gonna start seeing, especially in the East, you're gonna start seeing people getting traded. You're gonna start seeing people getting bought out, guys switching teams, things like that. Because even you look at like a team like the Celtics, they're gonna figure out the Celtics have a good team. They're gonna be like, how can we get to the Nets, Milwaukee level? Let's make a trade. Let's go sign somebody. Let's do something. So I think you're gonna see a bunch of guys getting moved. So I don't know. Guys are gonna sit out, but I would love to see what that really looks like because you're playing 10 less games and that makes a big difference.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
agree.
you mentioned LeBron in the West. I think someone with that rest factor you said with the Lakers getting off to a slow start and LeBron being what he's turned 30, 36.
Six,
Six,
Yeah.
36.
36.
So I think Anthony Davis is gonna be getting a lot more attention this year. He's getting into his prime per se. How old is he? He's gonna be like 27, 28 now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy to think how young AD is. He's
yeah,
on
And he's getting
career
more and more
and
confident beyond the arc too. You see him doing dribble pull-ups from like the corner three.
right.
It's
yeah.
unguardable for him.
You
So
you brought up the Celtics, and I haven't seen it yet. But what you think about JT? They said he grew like 3 inches. Said
They
it's
when he came out anyway, I already thought that he was 6'9", 6'10". Anyway, I thought that he had been 6'10" the whole time. To me personally, I didn't, him growing. I thought he had always been. I don't know if he grew 3 inches. 3 inches is a lot. We have seen guys growing over the last couple of years. Paul George did it. Ben Simmons did it. Bradley Beal has done it. Um, there's a couple of guys I'm forgetting too, but we have seen guys grow. I think 3 inches is a lot because
yeah,
he's. I mean,
yeah,
he's he
3
what?
inches is a lot.
Is he really 7 foot? I mean, maybe. I don't think he is. Maybe because they said that Jaren Jackson. They said that he grew a few inches too. So what is he now? 7'1"? I don't know, but
Yeah,
you got to kind of take coach what they're saying with a little bit of grain of salt. I don't know if he really grew 3 inches.
yeah.
that's what they,
I don't really see it. Go ahead, Mike.
that's what they say about Kevin Durant. They say Kevin Durant's like 7 foot, but really he's like what the same height, probably 6'10". So I don't know. It's all coach speak.
I think KD is 7 foot. He's taller than Boogie, and Boogie's 6'10".
Well, they said they came out like last year. They like updated like the heights and weights for like the players, and like everyone was shorter than what they're putting out there. And KD was
Yeah,
I see
I
that.
mean, if you ask Kevin Durant, he said publicly he thinks he's only 6'7". So you really probably don't get the real answer from him. So
Yeah,
I don't know how tall bro is.
yeah. All right, so move on to defensive player of the year. My defensive player of the year, I got AD,
Yeah,
because JaVale and Dwight is gone, and like you said, Lakers started out slow, but I think it's gonna be AD because he'll have to anchor more of that defense now with him being the only rim protector, and like, he only got his first block like last game or something like that. But once that team settles in defensively, because if you watch, they haven't been great defensively. Like they probably show individual effort on defense, but as a team, they haven't been great. They showed a few flashes, but also showed a few flashes of I don't want to say a lot of effort, but it's just like sometimes you'll be like, what the heck? Like, we know y'all are better than this defensively. So I'm going to put AD in that defensive player of the year once they start picking it up.
Yeah, I have a Giannis for my pick. I think one thing people aren't really talking about is Giannis is getting clowned a lot because of his offensive game. Obviously, with every time he airballs a three or a free throw, you see that pop up on social media. But I think where he can kind of is that obviously the offensive side is going to take a while to work on, where it gets to a point where he's going to really like it. But the defensive side is already there. You saw him win it last year, and that's just like defense. People don't really talk about this in basketball. Is like if you're not really playing well on offense, you can take out that aggression and that effort and put it into your defensive side. And that's what something with Giannis being as quick and as long and as athletic as he is and getting bigger. I think that's something that's not really going to go away. Anthony Davis is a good pick. Rudy Gobert is always a good pick too. I think the one thing I want to see is it's always a big man that wins Defensive Player of the Year. It's always really rare that a guard does it. What do y'all think, like, out of guards, other than, like, Marcus Smart, what guards do you think are out there that could
Drew.
Drew Holiday's a good pick.
Yeah, and I say Drew on the stand of last year, he was the best defensive guard, but now you put him on the defensive team, it's gonna up that exponentially. Like you'll see, he got an anchor behind him, and like you say, Giannis, he got traded to the Bucks, so you'll even see an increase in his defense. He's not on the island like he was.
Can y'all tell me the last time a guard has won it? Do you know the year and the player? Can you tell me the last time it's been done?
Was it Tony Allen?
If you count
If we're talking guards, no.
If we're talking, yeah, because Tony Allen was a little bigger. He played I guess more the three.
I don't think Tony Allen won. I think he got snubbed. Tony Allen hasn't won. He's just snubbed it. He got snubbed. He never won.
Damn. Okay.
Gary probably Payton. Gary Payton. Yeah.
It's Gary Payton in 1996. It's been 24, almost 25 years since he's done it. That's the last time a guard has done. You've had forwards like Kawhi did it, Giannis did it last year. You've had a couple of forwards done it, but I mean, it's usually a big. But my pick would be Anthony Davis as well.
Yeah, I know it's Gary Payton. I just didn't remember when.
Gary Payton and John Stockton, probably, right? John
Stockton. Well, Payton did it in '96. Then before that, it was Jordan did it in '88. Allen Robinson did it in '86. Sidney Moncrief did it back to back in '83 and '84.
There you go. Never mind.
Everyone before that has been a center, power forward, or wing.
Yeah, I don't know if Marcus Smart was in a bubble, and he went crazy in the bubble as far as defensively, and he always keeps that same energy. So I wouldn't be surprised if he got put in the running because I think he should have at least been in the running last year, but he wasn't. And I mean, that's tough because I think the runners up was Rudy Gobert and Anthony Davis. So I mean, it's tough to
Yeah, it's hard for a guard to win it because they just. Even if you have a really, really good defensive guard, sometimes it's hard for them to affect the game defensively. Big, they can block literally every single shot. They're, calling because usually when you have a guy calling out signals, it's usually the big, unless your wing is really, really good defensively. So yeah, it's just tougher for them to win it.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to the next thing. And this was I kind of talked to Mike about this. It's gonna be tough. A tough thing to, I guess, judge a sixth man of the year, and so. Kind of thinking Karis LeVert, he can kind of score at will. A lot of people will go off even more because he doesn't have Trez with him, but I think that'll hurt him because he doesn't have anybody to really run that pick and roll with. That was ran that as well as Trez did with him. So I got Karis LeVert number one.
Yeah, my pick is also from the Nets, but. He obviously got injured the other day. Spencer Dinwiddie. That's who I had come in. So after he I think he got injured like yesterday, or the day before. So I had to go, look at my list and see it again. Sixth man of the year is kind of one of those things that always gets in rotation. You always got to put Lou Will in there. Always got to put Jamal Crawford back in the day when he was actually playing. But I don't know. I think I'll put a sleeper pick just to spice it up because these answers probably going to be all in agreement as we go down the list. We'll put Melo. Melo, if the Blazers are actually going to do something in the West, they need Carmelo to give them at least like 13 and 5 off the bench, at least.
I'm gonna go up to. I think they need him to score 15 a game because after CJ and I think CJ will probably get in that 30 range. Hopefully CJ. Dame will get into that 30 range. Hopefully CJ goes up too. But that third score is gonna have to be Melo off the bench.
Yeah, or my other pick could be from the Blazers as well as Gary Trent. Gary Trent also showed in the bubble that he can hoop. So
Mm.
they're gonna do something, and Dame's gonna make that case for MVP, like you're saying, that he needs help from those guys. He needs it.
My pick is I want to pick Levert as well. Only thing with Levert is I want to see how many games he starts. One, because if Kyrie, let's say if I'm giving you a good number, I assume Kyrie and KD will play roughly around 60 games. The perfect number where I would say about 60 out of 72. I think that's fair. I want to see how many games Levert starts. One, because then we came off the bench too. I want to see what even if they trade him, maybe they do trade. I'm not sure. I want to see if how many games can he start because he might come a lot of games off the bench, but he just simply might not qualify just because he just unfortunately he started enough games. I think if he starts what I guess for this year like 35 games, 40 games, which isn't a lot, but he
Yeah,
theoretically wouldn't be able to qualify. But I'm going to pick Levert though.
yeah.
Jordan Clarkson's a sneaky pick too for the Jag. They're just going to tell him come off the bench and just shoot 25, 20 times a game and just do what he does. He's another sneaky pick.
Yeah, he definitely has a green light there. Um, I was pick before the year started, Michael Porter Jr., but now he's starting, so um, that won't happen. But I picked to be Michael Porter Jr. to be the sixth of the year. Um, but moving on to most improved, I'm going to pick Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
Went from I think he averaged like was it 10 points a game last year, close to it. This year, probably gonna get up to that 20 spot with the Nuggets because he'll probably be that third scorer. He might even be the second scorer because Joker might not score as much as he play makes. Like I could see Joker scoring dipping a little bit because he play makes so much for the team. And then Jamal, obviously, his scoring will definitely go up. He has that confidence now. I think he's going to be the number one scorer on that team, obviously. Because like I said, Joker will move more to that playmaking role. He had like 18 assists the other night, so I'm gonna go with Michael Porter Jr. being the most improved player.
My most improved is the guy you just said, Jamal Murray. I think that's my guy because you saw obviously going off the bubble. I think the bubble was huge. You're gonna see a lot of these teams are starting off slow, and a lot of them are gonna start off really fast. Like what is it? The Magic are the only undefeated team left, and that's because what they were in the bubble for like they didn't even make the playoffs, right? So
Yeah,
so the bubble's gonna affect a lot of people differently, but I think individually, the people that were really hot you're gonna see it come back to them quicker. And Jamal Murray, Luca, those guys, even like T.J. Warren, you see these guys going off in the bubble. Just wait, give it like one more week, and you're gonna start see them hooping like they were back in August and September. Jamal Murray, never been an All Star, never made any All NBA teams. He's gonna make those this year. I don't know about All NBA, but he'll definitely be an All Star. I think in the West this year, he could be one of the last point guards taken for the West. Um, he's got that confidence and he's got that big body. People really don't think about that with Jamal Murray. He's kind of thick built for a point guard, but he's still athletic where he can game it on you, but he can also
Yeah.
on you if he needs to. So
For me, I'm gonna pick. Well, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is gonna be one, and I also like Porter as well. Porter, he had a 30-10 game, I believe, yesterday or the day before. Shea with the Thunder, the Thunder are awful because they're tanking, but I think his numbers will improve. I think he really did learn a lot last year from Chris Paul. I think that he's really going to take another step forward. I'm a Thunder fan, so I really want to see him get better. I think a lot of times last year he showed that he was a kind of passive, and then I want to see Gary Trent as well. Some of these guys are coming in the contract year. I think Gary Trent as well. It's kind of amazing how much better players get when their contract's about to end. They want to get paid. So that's also a big motivating factor. I think that Trent's contract does end. So I think he's also going to play extremely well.
yeah, I feel that. I think the first like 3 games he didn't play too much, and then
Yeah.
the against the Lakers is a game where he got more minutes and then
Yeah.
seen how much he went off
Yeah.
against the Lakers.
They're
It
deep.
was just
They're
posted.
deep. It's gonna be hard. Someone's gonna be hard for them to get minutes. You can bring. They brought over hell 3 guys. Then you got Rodney Hood back. They're deep. They're gonna play 9, 10 guys easily. So it's gonna be not maybe not him per se, but even like Anthony Simmons, I'm a big fan of his. But I want to see if his minutes even get cut. Not because he's not good. It's just because you just have guys. The Blazers have been asking for a good wing since Nicholas Batum left, which is sad to say, but he was really good when he played for the Trailblazers 7 years ago, 6 years ago. They've been asking for a good wing since then, and they finally got a decent one in Rocco. So I want to see whose minutes get maybe. I don't know if Trent will because he really can shoot it, but I would like to see how many minutes he does get the game.
Yeah, they
I think one people that are really sleeping on is Derek White. Derek White hasn't played so far this year. He's been injured with the Spurs. You know, I gotta give him some Spurs love. But
I knew you was gonna give us Spurs.
no, but I'm dead serious though, because Derek White is the one dude. I don't know if y'all remember this. You know, Popovich is now head of Team USA coaching, and I think it was last year, they did the practices list, and he snubbed Trae Young. He didn't invite Trae Young to the thing, but he invited Derek White, and I get it because it's he's a good guy. I know it's Pop guy, but I don't believe that it's just blind faith, because I watch every single Spurs game, and that's something where he comes back, the ball's going to be in his hands. Obviously, I don't think he's going to compete for most improved player, but I'm saying don't be surprised, because the Spurs don't get any press. Any press. No one's watching them or talking about them. Just keep an eye on it. That's all I'm going to say. Keep an eye on
it. Go ahead, Spy.
Oh, I was going to say the USA thing is I hear you, but if we can say the same thing about Mason Plumlee, we already know why he was there, because Coach K, that's his boy. He coached him. It's easy for, at the end of the day, head coach, he gets the final say. He going to put his boy on there. Like Mason Plumlee, he probably won't do much in the NBA career, but he's always going to have, I went to the Olympics, or I was part of the FIBA team. He's always going to have that on his resume no matter what. He probably won't ever score more than 10 points a game for a consecutive season, but he did play on the Olympic team. I mean, hell, I'm glad Coach K's gone now, because he probably would have been on this summer's team if he would have been on there now. But I feel what you're saying, though.
But I think the talent level is a little bit different. I know Mason Plumlee's a Duke boy for Coach K, but I really think Derek White's someone that has it.
If you snub Trae Young, Derek White's a good player. I'm not gonna disrespect him, but if you're gonna snub Trae Young, you see what Trae Young's doing. He's having 33 a game. Yeah. He's averaging 10 assists a game, and you're gonna snub him because it's your boy. I get it. I don't blame him, but there was some underlying motivation behind that. But it is what it is.
And I think it was too. Trae Young I'm not gonna say he's terrible on defense, but
he's bad. He's bad.
No, he's not gonna stop nobody. He's not gonna
nobody
down, and he's not gonna make anybody. And his best defensive attribute, that you gotta chase him around on offense. you gotta defense on somebody who's gonna touch the ball, every time down, most likely, or most of the time. So that's his best defensive attribute. But I think that had a big reason why he also got snubbed.
Yeah.
If he got snubbed, I didn't agree with it being him, but I wasn't too surprised, just because he's been terrible on defense.
And then most of the guys, most of them opt out. I believe Fox, he wanted to make the team, and he got pissed when he didn't make the final, because he was pretty upset about that. So a lot of the guys, they opt out. That team was horrible anyway. What did they finish 7th in the FIBA?
I think
that team was literally historically bad. So you don't even want to know my opinions about USA basketball in the near future. Maybe not this year, but I think we're gonna take a step back in the very near future. Maybe not this Olympics, but the next one. It wouldn't surprise me if we didn't win gold. But that's another conversation for another day.
I wanted to say something about the Trailblazers too. When you brought them up, it's gonna be interesting to see. Like you said, they are real deep. So just a few players they added. They added Derrick Jones Jr. and while he didn't score too much defensively, he's tough on defense. He's long, he's super athletic, and he's defensive minded. So I like Jr. I'm a Miami guy, so he's just gonna bring a lot of good stuff for them. Obviously, Rocco, they bought Covington. They got Rodney Hood, and they got Melo off the bench too.
Giles too.
They got a lot of talent in that second team. If they can put that second team together and have them form some type of chemistry, that's what's gonna make them. That's what's gonna put them bottom 3 playoffs to maybe top 4 or 5. Is if that second team can really score some points.
Yeah, they also bring in Harry Giles as well. Harry Giles is solid. Derrick Jones is solid. They brought some good pieces. It's fine. Damian Lillard is my favorite player, so I've been kind of pissed since some of the guys decided to leave. But I'm just glad they're able to get him give him help, because last year they had to sneak into the playoff, but they were definitely a playoff team. They were just battling injuries all year. Nurkic was hurt. Dame was playing with bruised ribs. They had some injuries last year, but now if they can stay healthy, they're solid. I think they're pretty solid, and they're still waiting for Zach Collins to come back. So they have a pretty formidable team. I think they could beat maybe upset a team in the playoffs. I think they're around that 4 or 5 range. I think that's a good assessment.
Yeah, and then I mean the only problem they run into in the playoffs really is when you slow down Dame, what happens next? And so we see that year after year. The Warriors gave him so much attention; they was throwing 2 and 3 guys at him. Lakers, they so much attention at him, and so they lose every year when you throw attention at Dame, and then nobody else is you know, CJ will give you his 20 year or whatever, but I mean after that, it's like, dang, where else do we go? So once if they can find that somebody to take some of the weight off his back, yeah,
Nurkic.
that's tough.
It's Nurkic. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Nurkic is never healthy when it comes to the playoffs. So you can take CJ out of it. They don't got a big guy. So if he stays healthy, then they're gonna be nice. So that's a big.
I mean, even the last 3 years, they've had injuries. Nurkic gets hurt in that next game. He breaks his leg in half. That same playoffs, Dame gets fractured ribs. The next playoffs, CJ gets hurt. And then this playoffs again, CJ, he had he had like a fracture in his back or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
all 3 of them are just hurt. All of them are hurt. So it's just, I mean, they keep in mind they brought over some hurt guys too. Harry Giles, he gets hurt every year, unfortunately. Rodney Hood's coming off an Achilles, I believe. They bring over some hurt guys, but they can stay relatively healthy. This team is solid. I think last year, too, they were pretty bad defensively. They brought over some defensive guys. Derrick Jones plays defense. Rocco plays defense. Canner doesn't at all, but the other 2, they're good on the perimeter. So I think that'll definitely help them. And Canner will give them some size down low. Like, he's not the AD stopper or nowhere near that, but he's at least big. He can at least be in the way and get some defensive rebounds.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's gonna be interesting to see how they play. I think the next prediction is the rookie awards. And so first, I was kind of scared about this pick because the first 2 games he kind of scared me, but obviously Melo conversation. Like I said, he did scare me the other day.
Put up 0.
Yeah, he wasn't doing nothing for like 2 games or something like that. But this I guess he's picking it back up. He just had his first 20-point guy. I think he had 22. So he's going to pick it back up. The other person who I want to see win, I don't really know how this will go just because the Knicks have so many young players, but I want to see Obi go off. I'm a fan. I liked him in college. I love the way he plays. He's just super high energy. You know, he could jump out the gym. So I want to see him get in that rookie conversation talk, but I know Knicks have so many young players that they want to play. It's going to be tough for him to get some consistent minutes.
I think I got to go with Wiseman. Got to do it.
Yeah, that's my pick. Yeah.
Wiseman, I know there's not a lot of tape on him because he only played those 3 games at Memphis, but if you've seen him so far in those first couple games with the Warriors, he's hitting threes, he's going coast to coast, he's dunking, he's posting up, he gets rebounds, blocks. It might be a reach, but he looks like a baby Joel Embiid, like right now, with the confidence to do whatever he wants. Because outside of Steph Curry, you know, Kelly Oubre just hit his first 3. Was he like 1 of 18 so far in the first 3?
Yeah.
So, like outside of Steph Curry, no one's really doing anything on offense. So Wiseman's got to pick it up. He's going to get the ball in his hands a lot. And Steve Kerr's not an idiot. He knows that that's probably the most talented big man they've had since Lord knows who. So
ever since Steph has been there, ever they never had a good big man since Steph has been
That's
there.
been healthy. I mean, it would have been
Bogut.
But
Yeah, Cousins too. Yeah, he been hurt too.
he got hurt. Yeah.
So
Wiseman's my pick as well. I mean, he's going. The Warriors, even though they're not the true Warriors yet, I mean, Draymond hasn't played yet. Clay's unfortunately he's hurt as well. But Wiseman, he played well. I mean, he's blocking shots. He's running the floor like he just said. He's going coast to coast. He looks excited. He brings them definitely some juice. I like where he's been. I think that he was definitely slept on. A lot of people undervalued him because he didn't play those 3 games. But talent is talent. This guy was the number 1 player in high school. I know that doesn't really mean anything when you get to college and definitely not the next level, but you can see the talent. Like you can see how good he was because he's a little bit unique. He's not just your typical athletic big. He's all that and he's skilled. You know, he can put the ball on the floor. He can shoot threes. So he's a little bit or a lot more skilled I think people gave him credit for. And he's playing with Steph. Steph is going to make him so much better. I feel like he's in a very unique situation because he has Steph that's going to help him offensively, just put him in the right spots. And then Draymond is going to teach him everything how to be a great defensive player. So I think he's going to be able to get the best of both worlds. And if I'm the Warriors again, you know what, screw it. I would just tank again. They have the Timberwolves lottery pick this year, and the Warriors are I love the Warriors, but they're probably going to be awful. That's fine. Just tank again. You can theoretically get 2 lottery picks in probably the deepest draft we've seen in a decade. I'm fine with that. Clay's will hopefully come back. Clay's more skilled than he is athletic. I don't think the ACL will hurt him as much as people are saying. If he can come back healthy, we said this year. Unfortunately, injuries didn't play their way with them, but I think they're going to be scary a year from now. If they can get 2 lottery
Yeah.
picks and bring Clay back, they're going to be solid.
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna tank. It's a little
I would.
it's a little early to say they're gonna have the deepest draft in a decade. Next year,
I would try. I would try. I mean, I would if I was them and the Grizzlies, I would tank. I would 100% tank. Why? What for what? Why would we not tank?
because two. Go ahead, Mike.
it's John Steph. John Steph don't want to tank. That's what it is.
Jaws hurt and he fried out his ankle. Thankfully, it wasn't a grade 3 ankle sprain. But the thing is, they said he might be available in 3 weeks. I'm not playing him in 3 weeks. Playing 3 weeks for what? I don't even know when I don't even know when Triple D's coming back. Justice Winslow, who they traded for last year, hasn't played a game. I would tank. I would because here's the thing. They might not try to tank. It's just unfortunately they might be tanking, quote unquote, just sure of how good the West is. It's not even due to their own fault. It's just the West is just so good that when Chris Paul went to the Suns, that's automatically someone wasn't going to the playoffs. The Thunder dropped out like that. When he left the Suns, to me, they said they're automatically a playoff team. Mm-hmm. And you see how hard it was for them last year to make the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs last year. They got eliminated by the Blazers. So the play-in tournament will be interesting. But if I'm the Warriors and the Grizzlies, I would tank it. You're right. It might not be the deepest draft in a decade, but I'll tell you for sure for one thing. There's like 6 guys competing for the number 1 spot. I like my chances.
No, only reason I was saying that because next year's 2021, so next year's year 1 in a decade. That's why I was just making a joke.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're right. No, you're right. I didn't even think about that. You're right. You're all right.
But the Warriors team, I think they can be talented if everyone played to their potential. Like, because I'm a Kelly Oubre fan, man. I love Kelly Oubre.
Love Kelly.
But he started off slow. Andrew Wiggins, we all know the potential he can like tap into, even though he hasn't tapped into it yet. Like
he's so annoying.
Besides and maybe flashes here and there. But if Kelly Oubre and Andrew Wiggins could tap into that. So last night when I was going over this list again, I was going to cheat and change to Wiseman, but I was like, no, I'll just keep who I got. But I was thinking, like, he's in the best situation for a rookie, honestly. If they wanted to compete, they can probably compete for a 7th or 8th spot because, like you said, the West is deep. So I think they could compete for a 7th or 8th spot, and it'd be tough. If Steph Curry is healthy, I don't see Steph wanting to tank because I feel like Steph himself is one of the best players in the game. And so if you consider yourself one of the best players in the game, you got to put that weight on your back just like others have.
Yeah. We'll see. Who you got for Coach of the Year? That's the next up.
Man, this would be super hard. I'll probably go Michael Malone and Brad Stevens. Nuggets and Celtics, just because we'll see them. You'll probably see Nuggets top 3 again. You'll probably see Celtics top 3 again. And they are going to be the only top 5 team in their conferences who don't really have a quote-unquote superstar. Like Joker is a top 10 player. But the Celtics don't really have a superstar. And I only count superstars like top 10 players. If you're outside of the top 10, to me, really.
You don't think Jason?
I don't even think there's.
Player?
I don't think is he a top 10 player? No.
Okay, wait. If you don't, I'm just gonna clear this up. I know it's gonna be a little road gap, but if Paul George is considered a superstar in the eyes of many people in the NBA,
I don't think he's a superstar. There's only like 5 in the NBA. I don't. It's only like 5 superstars in the NBA. Maybe I could force and get to 6 or 7. There's not 10 superstars in the NBA. Can't be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't be.
I always say, yeah, I agree with you. But I'm saying what Corey just said. There's probably 10 superstars. I think Jason Tatum's already better than Paul George right now. That's what I'm saying. So I know he's still young, and I know it didn't really start going on until January of last year, or I guess of this year, last season, is when he really started to click. But Jason Tatum, if he's not there yet, he's getting really close.
With everyone healthy, I don't think Jason Tatum's a top 10 player. LeBron.
Go ahead.
Quick 10. I get close to 10 as possible. that's hands down better than him, I'll go LeBron, KD, Kawhi, AD, Giannis, um, Dame, James Harden,
Jokic.
Joker, and man, let's see. I don't know if I haven't said already.
Embiid.
Embiid, I'll probably take. Yeah, I'll take Embiid over him too. I think I said Giannis. I said Luka, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean that's an easy 9 right there. I don't think anybody outside the people I just named are superstars anyway. I mean, I didn't name Trey Young. I didn't name Bradley Beal because I mean, I guess you can argue those. I didn't name Devin Booker. It's some arguable names, but outside of them, I don't think there's no other superstars in the
Tatum's,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Tatum's that first guy out then. He's got to be at least 11. He's there because I'm taking over D-Book. I'm taking him over Trey Young. I'm taking him over. Dude, I might even take him over Jokic if I'm being real with you. I'm being serious. So
Well,
I'm taking Embiid over Jokic.
So I'm at my grandma's house and I don't have a cap today. But if I did, I will be pulling out the cap, Mike. You're not taking Jason Tatum over the Joker. But cap alert right now.
the thing is, okay,
These guys capping.
there's a lot to get into. So you said you would, because I used to, me and RC, we used to argue about this all the time. Because I used to be big on the Joel Embiid. I would take him over Joker. I don't think I would. Joel Embiid, he has he more dominant, sure, but to me the best ability is availability. He's always freaking hurt. Then when my best players of the team, I don't need kids running my organization. I like men. I want leaders of men. People are going to bring people together. Jokic is all about that. He's a little odd, he is, but he likes to bring people together. Jokic is not Jokic. Embiid is a clown. He likes to joke and he likes to play, which is fine. But when I want you to be my best player of the team, I don't want that. You look at some of the best players on the team. I want men. I'm into great. I'm into leadership. That's what I'm into. I can't have my best player getting thrown out of every game because he wants to get into a tussling match with someone that's beneath it. I don't need. You're above that. You're a Joel Embiid. I don't need you to do that. Then when you're talking about Paul George, he's been bad in the playoffs. But here's the thing with Paul George, there's not many of Paul Georges in the league. When I say there's not that many good two-way wings in the NBA. When you get to you start naming the best two-way wings in the NBA, we're going to talk in small forwards. You're going to get to 5, 6-ish, and you're going to be like, damn. You're going to, because the drop-off between even if you said Paul George was the best two-way wing in the league, then beneath him, you're going to get to Andrew Wiggins territory, Tobias Harris, who really isn't a wing. You're going to start getting to Jonathan Isaac, who's improved, but he's more of a defensive player than he is offensive player. That's the difference because there's not that many Paul George. There's not that many guys that can give you 25 a game and then guard your best player on offense. There's not that many guys in the league that can do that. That's why Paul George is so valuable. That's why you see Ken Bazemore, Danny Green, Trevor Ariza, although they're old as hell, there's going to be a place in this league for them because there's not that many 3-and-D wings, and Paul George is the supernova of that. That's why they're so valuable.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. But that's what I'm saying. I think I've anointed Jason Tatum as that dude already.
No, he's really good. He's really, really good. He's my favorite player in that class. He's really good.
Because I think right now, I know I'm riding him hard, but I'm saying in 5 years, you said the Olympic team's going to be bad. And that's true, but I think Jason Tatum is going to be that dude that has to be the best one from that USA team. Because it's him, Luka, and Zion. That's the future of the NBA, whether you like it or not. That's what it is.
Yeah, it is.
It's those 3 dudes. So he's got to turn it on now, especially with the Celtics. Because we all know Danny Ainge has that trigger finger on trades. If he sees something out there to shake up his team to go get him closer to the ring, he's going to do it. So him and Jaylen Brown too, man. They got to really – I know they're taking the next steps, but it's gotta be this year. It's gotta be. They gotta get over Milwaukee. They gotta.
Yeah. They have a good team. I think they're missing. I think Tatum he'll definitely be a top 10 player. Maybe he may even be able to do it after this year. I think he's right on the verge of getting into. I thought he was the best player in that class. I thought it was idiotic when he didn't go 1 in the first place. That didn't make sense to me. When you have a guy that's 6'9", whatever he is, that can score from all 3 levels of the floor. I don't see what's not to like. The Trailblazers should know better. No one learned from the Trailblazers' mistake when Kevin Durant is there, and you want to pick Greg Oden who has knee issue. I don't get it. But that's why I'm not. Maybe they knew something I didn't because I'm not a GM.
Well, we'll continue going. Mike, it's on you. Who you got, Coach of the Year?
I got Monty Williams from the Suns. You said it. Chris Paul is obviously the coach on the floor, but you got all that talent coming in and going from not playoffs to making the playoffs in the West. That's a big deal. Monty Williams is a hell of a coach, and I think it's going to show with the Suns. They all bought into him. That's the thing that D-Book was kind of worried about because there was all these trade rumors with D-Book a couple years ago saying he was tired of losing, wants to get out of here, all that stuff. Even whenever Bledsoe did that thing, that tweet where he said, "I don't want to be here anymore," that's because they hadn't had a consistent coach in forever. Now they finally got Monty Williams, and they got a good team. Monty Williams isn't getting a lot of love for Coach of the Year, and I think he definitely should be mentioned in that.
Yeah, I told you I'm a Miami boy. I'm a Miami fan, and so they got my guy over there, James Jones. So he's making some things shake. I like James, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I got Monty as well. I mean, they have a great roster. You bring over Chris Paul. They have Aiden, they have Cameron Johnson, they have all Mikal Bridges, they have all these young guys, and they look how exciting they were in the bubble. They unfortunately how the bubble played out. They should have made the playoff. They should have been in the play-in. They what the Suns what happened to the Suns last year is even I think kind of even proves why we need a play at least for this year. So I think the Suns are legit. I think that Monty they're going to be a playoff, and they haven't made the playoffs in what 8 years, 9 years, something like that. So I think he'll definitely be the coach of the year, and you'll see they're gonna make some noise in the playoffs as well.
Got to. Ain't no reason not to. All right, so we'll wrap it up with the NBA. We'll give it with the finals predictions. Who y'all got?
Yeah, finals predictions is the last one. Best team in the West is obviously the Lakers. I think the Lakers will go back to back.
Yeah,
it's a toss up in the East, and the reason why it's a toss up, honestly, is because Giannis can't shoot a jump shot yet. That's what holds him back. I think you'll see Miami again in that top five, but I think the Celtics will end up. They've been on a brink like the last 3 years. They've been on a brink. I think they get over the brink this year, especially if they trade. And I think they need a true defensive anchor, like somebody a big. So if they can trade for a true big to help them out defensively, they got enough scorers on the team and got enough players who want to play defense. They can run when they want to run. They can score in a half-court offense. So I think it'll be Lakers Celtics championship.
well, I'm gonna go Lakers and the Nets. I think that, like you said, Giannis he can't shoot. And my biggest point with the Bucks was I don't know how much better they got. Drew Holiday's really good. I'm a fan, but I don't know how much better they got because once you take them off the floor, their bench is kind of suspecty. I think that they would have got Bogdan. That would have helped them. DJ Augustine is solid. He's small. You mean DiVincenzo? I like DiVincenzo, but I was expecting to maybe add a little bit more wing depth because Torrey Craig isn't going to help you off the bench really that much. They don't really have their depth is spotty, and I think that Giannis can't shoot. And the thing is, we always talk about Giannis and his shooting. He's still young, but some guys just can't shoot, and I think he's going to be one of those guys where he just it's unfortunate. I just don't think he can shoot. Some guys are just like that. I don't know what it is. That's just maybe the thing. Maybe his arms are too long. I'm not sure, but I just think that he's going to be one of those guys where we're going to look back and like, he just can't shoot. Like that. That's just what it is.
He should be able to learn. Another player who I think when he first came into the league was Kawhi Leonard. Wasn't a great jump shooter, and now he can knock down the shot, even contested. So I mean, Giannis is gonna have to do something. And the biggest thing in the playoffs is that Giannis can get the ball and run down the floor. In the playoffs, you obviously can't do that. Somebody's gonna be sitting there on you, so you can't run up the floor and at somebody. And that's what the biggest thing is. So, if it hasn't got any better this year, then we probably will look down and just be like, dang, he just couldn't shoot. But I mean, if Blake Griffin got a jump shot, I mean, it's not great, but he finally developed one. Giannis should be able to do the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think one thing you got to mention though, if you're saying the bench from Milwaukee is suspect, so is it for Brooklyn, especially with Dinwiddie out. After you put KD and Kyrie off the court, who's running with it? Karis LeVert and who else? You know what I mean?
This is what I was talking to my homeboys about this, and they kept saying I was capping. And it's because after Karis LeVert, their defense, their bench drops. And it's like, yeah, you think the Nets bench is crazy right now just because Karis LeVert can come off and give you 20. but it's like the time they play against somebody who's going to have a second team that can actually make it tough for him, then he goes to who, or when he's done, what's going to happen next. So I think that Nets bench is a little suspect just because, especially that Spencer's is on. Karis LeVert going to have to carry it himself, but I don't think it's enough from that second team
Yeah.
to continue helping him out.
I want to see if Landry Shamet can step. I really like Landry Shamet. I'm really surprised he keeps getting traded every other year. But I like Landry Shamet. He's not, the greatest player ever, but I think that he's a solid backup point guard, especially with Spencer Dinwiddie going out. He's gonna have to step up. They have TLC Luwawu. I can't even say his name, but you know what I'm talking about. I call him TLC, but he's gonna have to be able to step up as well. But yeah, you're right. No, their bench isn't very deep. Jared Allen comes off their bench as well. He's gonna have to take a little step forward as well. But I think they might try to go make a move. Maybe they try to go get George Hill from the Pelicans. Some guys will probably get bought out. I know there's rumors maybe they'll try to go re-sign Jamal Crawford. I mean, he's still old, but he's formidable. I think they're gonna try to make a move though, because that Dinwiddie loss that's gonna hurt them a lot. So I mean, if Dinwiddie doesn't get hurt, I don't even think we're talking about this. Because you have Dinwiddie and LeVert coming off the bench, but unfortunately he is hurt. So I think it's best for them to go make a move.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting. The trade deadline this year is going to be really, really crazy because a lot of those big teams that you're talking about, the bench, man, that's what runs the playoff is your second unit and your coach. That's the thing that I think is the problem with Milwaukee. I can't put them in my finals predictions because their coach. And Coach Bud's a good regular season coach. We know this to be true. He did it with Atlanta that one year. But Coach Bud, this is really funny. Greg Popovich is probably, arguably, if not the best coach of our generation, right? So, but the thing is, he has a coaching tree. A lot of these NBA coaches come from him, but they can't get their team to play well in the playoffs because they don't make adjustments. For some reason, I don't get it. I don't know why. But, it's an obvious adjustment, in the playoffs. What you should do with Giannis is don't have him be the primary ball handler when you're in half-court offense. That's what you got to do with Milwaukee and let your shooters shoot. Space it out, right? Have Giannis do these backcourt cuts. And, I mean, it sucks because you're not putting the ball in the MVP's hands, but you watch Milwaukee in the playoffs, Bud, it's like he slams his head into the wall. It's like Giannis is going to be my point guard on a half-court offense. And why? It doesn't work. It doesn't work because they're just going to force him to shoot. They're going to clog the paint. So, I don't know. That's the thing with Milwaukee, and that's the thing with the Nets that scares me because – if they don't pick someone up on the bench for the Nets, that means they're going to have to give more run to KD and Kyrie, who are super injury-prone dudes nowadays. So it's a lot. It's a lot. You count on a lot for a little hope. But I think my finals prediction, just because obviously the Lakers are the obvious pick in the West. It's LeBron. They got the deepest team in the league. You can't say they're probably not going to go to the finals. But if it's not them, I would pick Denver, and I'd put the Celtics in the East. I think those two teams are parallels in the different conferences. They have young budding superstars with Jokic and Murray and maybe Michael Porter Jr. And then the Celtics obviously have the two, Jason and Jalen. So if those guys can take the next step, which I think Jamal Murray is also on the cusp of being that next level, just like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are, it'll be really interesting. I think if Denver didn't go through all those 7-game final or those playoffs like they did in the bubble. I'm not saying they would beat the Lakers. That's not
okay. I was going to say, don't do it, Mike.
They could have took one more game. What was it? 3-1 is what happened?
No, I think they lost 3-2.
Yeah, there was
4-2. I mean, 4-2.
Yeah, it was 4-2. Yeah. I think it could have went 7 because their bench is also pretty nice too. I mean, losing Jeremy Grant was kind of stupid. I don't realize why they didn't. I guess he was too expensive.
No, that's gonna hurt them.
That's gonna hurt them a lot. That's why they're trusting in Michael Porter Jr. so much. That's what it is. And if they can get Ball to actually get some run this year, that's gonna help them. No, he's a bench.
They lost 4-1. Yeah, so they didn't win 2 games. Yeah, they lost 4-1.
Yeah, I think if they had a little bit more they were so burnt out by the time they came in because they had Jamal.
They can't guard anybody.
Yeah, Jamal Murray was on dead legs because he's going against Donovan Mitchell. And then who was the second round that he played against? It was another 7-game series.
They played the Clippers.
Yeah. And they were down 3-1 to them also. So, one more game.
I'm not going to give them
one more game.
I'm not. Yeah, but what does that make a difference? They still don't beat the Lakers.
That it's more of a. I mean, look at the Blazers. The Blazers 2 years ago were in the Western Conference Finals. Look at them now, barely making the playoffs the year after.
They don't beat the Lakers.
I'm not saying they're not going to beat them, but I said that they could be more formidable. all I'm saying.
And the Nuggets, they can't guard anybody. They're so bad perimeter defensively. Like Michael Porter, he just can't guard anybody. The issue is the West is a bad conference to not have perimeter defense because you have the best perimeter players in the league are in the West.
That's fair. I think Jamal Murray, though, is a pretty good defender for a point guard. And I think the one that got slept on that because he was hurt was Gary Harris. Gary Harris came in and he was hurt. He hadn't played all year last year.
He's not stopping anybody.
Bro, come on. He's a good defensive player. You know this.
Define good.
Fine, good. What do you mean? He can stop.
I don't.
The guy that can hit a step back three. That's
okay. So you just look at the matchups they're probably gonna have to face in the West. I don't think Harden will be a Rocket too much longer, but regardless, he's not stopping James Harden. He's not stopping Devin Booker. Should I go on? Like when they played the Clippers, who was like they beat the Clippers last year, but even the Clippers they folded, but I don't think they're gonna be able to beat the Clippers again. Maybe, but I don't think so.
A good guard defender, a good perimeter defender doesn't stop the good offensive players in the NBA today. It just doesn't happen.
But he can't.
You slow him down a little.
Yeah. The thing is, he's nowhere near CJ and Dame. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's nowhere. Like if I told him, and it's not even his fault. This isn't his fault. It's just the fact that Dame and CJ, for example, are so good that where it's like he's nowhere near them. Like I can't expect him to honestly sit there and guard CJ and expect him to do. He's not gonna do anything. Like and it's one because I never just saying he can slow them down. I just don't think he's. I think he's average defensively. Jamal, I think he's average. I think they're average defensively. They're average.
That's why
I feel like
that's why
they try. Trying and being able to do something are two different things. Those are very two different things.
That's where people get confused at. Is that the Nuggets, they give a lot of effort. They give you a lot of effort. They're going to play hard. They're going to play their hearts out, but that doesn't mean they're great defensively. And like, as a team, they're solid defensively. As a team, they're a solid defensive team. Just because when you get a lot of guys that want to play defense, you're going to be a solid defensive team. But nobody on that team is a great defensive player. And I think you lose Torrey. I think probably the best defensive player they had was probably Torrey Craig. And then you lose him too.
They lose off him. Then what made them so dangerous too was Grant. Grant is probably one of the more switchable defenders in the league. He's just so long and athletic. He can switch out and guard multiple positions. When you let him go, and then you don't re-sign Torrey Craig, that hurts. Because at least Torrey Craig, he's physical. Like he's physical, and you lose both of them. Because Michael Porter Jr., they benched him last year in the bubble because he wouldn't play defense. They're like, you know what? We'll give away your 15 points a game. We want Torrey Craig, and he averages 3. We'll rather play him because he's going to play defense. That's how bad defensively that he was. And we just saw this 4 months ago. You look at him now; he's still very bad. If defense just isn't his thing yet, I don't think it will be. If the defense just isn't his thing, they don't have good defensive, especially on the wing. A lot of their wing players are short. Will Barton's not that tall. A lot of they play him at the 3 sometimes. He's not a big dude. I'm a big Will Barton fan, but he's not tall. He's like 6'5". He's not a big guy. So I don't know when they play a guy like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, LeBron, Devin Booker, who's 6'6". I don't know if they're going to be able to guard them properly.
Yeah. So we're gonna start moving on to this big talk of the NFL right now is MVP talk. Right now, pretty much everybody in the playoffs right now is gonna make it. And earlier in the year, I will have to say I'm wrong with an asterisk on it. Me and Tobias talked about the Buccaneers, and they were better than I thought, but I still don't think they'll go far in the playoffs.
Probably not. They got to go on the road 3 times, but they're not winning 3 games in a row. There's no way in hell.
Yeah, they were better than I thought, but at the same time, they won like 4 games that they shouldn't have won. Other teams was giving up. Just made bad decisions. And so it was 4 games that I counted just as they should have lost. But still, they did play better than I thought. I was kind of sad because I do like Mike Evans, and he probably won't get 1,000 yards this year, and it'll be the first year that he doesn't reach 1,000 yards. And he was like going for a streak. I think he could I think the last person to do that.
He can get, if he plays Sunday, he'll get 100. He'll get 40 yards on Sunday. He's at 960. He'll get 40 yards on Sunday. He could do that.
I mean, he's had a lot of games where he didn't do that. And I don't. Who they're playing? They play.
I probably wouldn't even. They're playing the Falcons.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't play him, but
Brady,
if they do, he'll get 40 yards. He'll do that. He'll do that in the first 2 drives. He'll get 40 yards in 2 drives.
Brady probably won't play.
Well, Brady doesn't play. None of them need to play then.
Yeah,
If Brady's not playing, none of them need to screw it then.
yeah. I think there's 3 dudes. The media, I think, right now is trying to make it out to be 4. I'm not putting Josh Allen in my MVP conversation. I'm sorry.
Sleep. Josh Allen's a stud. Josh Allen's a stud.
Don't get me wrong. He's a stud. He's special. Josh Allen is a young Ben Roethlisberger. I've said that from the rip. But MVP talk this year, no, it's 3 dudes clearing the way. So
Who are the 3?
Who's the third?
you got Derrick Henry. He's the 3rd. That's who it is. Yes, it's Derrick Henry. Take Derrick Henry off of the Tennessee Titans. Where are they at? Be real with me.
Take Josh Allen off the Bills, and where are they at?
That's
Defeated.
That's what
Not winning any games.
But the thing with Josh Allen is there's games where Josh Allen has his stupid game where it's like, what the hell, bro? You should have been able to do this, and he'll throw like those stupid 3 picks, and his efficiency is off. Josh Allen's still young. He's young and stupid. That's what he is.
How many 3 interception games do you think he's had this year?
How many what?
3 interception games do you think he's had this year?
1 3 interception game, but my
0.
boneheaded games is what I'm saying.
What boneheaded games? Tell me where are the boneheaded games? I would love to know.
The huge Josh Allen MVP talk was at the beginning of the year. Remember, he was like the first 5 weeks of the year he was going off, and then
They're undefeated.
Something happened. There was like 2 weeks there where Josh Allen didn't perform like he was in those first 5 weeks.
He had a stinker in Tennessee. They got rolled. Okay. He has to be 3rd. Like he has to be 3rd in the MVP talk. He has to be.
Over Derrick Henry.
It should be A-Rod patting him. It should be A-Rod patting because you understand running backs don't affect winning as much as they don't affect winning that much. A quarterback. Look at the Bears. The Bears have everything you want. They have a good running back. They have receivers. They have a good defense. Quarterbacks they don't affect winning. Christian McCaffrey did things last week we've never seen before. They weren't looking at the playoff last year. Doesn't matter. So Juan Barkley, he can run for 2,000 yards. Doesn't matter.
That's fair.
It doesn't matter. They don't affect winning that much.
That's fair. But we've also seen, save Pat Mahomes' magical run last year against Tennessee where he shed off all those dudes and they decided not to tackle him. Tennessee wins that game for being real. That's the truth.
But they don't.
But my point is, here's the difference, right? You could say that running backs don't make the team special.
How did Derrick Henry help them against the Packers? They got their ass beat because it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
That's the problem with the running back is once you're behind, you got to be able to throw the ball, and that's where Derrick Henry stats get depleted because Ryan Tannehill's a good quarterback, but he's not the quarterback that's going to bring you behind like a Pat Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. That's what it is. Now, do I think it should be Pat Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers? Yes, it's one of those 2 guys. Whoever y'all say it's going to be, that's not a wrong answer. If you say it's Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't be mad about it. If you say it's Pat Mahomes,
I think it is a wrong answer. I think it is a wrong answer.
You think it's Pat Mahomes and Aaron?
Yeah, I think it's Pat Mahomes. I mean,
A-Rod's slinging it. I'm not gonna lie to you. A-Rod is slinging it.
Yes.
44-5.
We know who the better quarterback is.
Pat Mahomes is going to happen. It's the same thing that's going to happen to LeBron. LeBron every year should, win the MVP, whatever. But that's what's going to happen with him. But at the same time, this isn't one of those years. Aaron Rodgers, his team, is the number 1 seed in the NFC, and the gap between him and the Chiefs isn't that nuts. It's really not that far. And if
it's hands down. It's not far, but it's hands down.
But the Chiefs are better, but we're talking like statistically, and what he's done this year is 70% completion percentage, 4,000 yards, 44 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, perfect passer rating. It's hard for me to not like 5 interceptions. He just threw his 5th against the Titans. So
I mean,
I don't know.
Pat Mahomes only has 6, and that's because he had a bonehead game against I think the Bills. I think when was it the Bills when people were catching like stupid picks? I think
it was the Dolphins. He do 3.
Oh, the Dolphins, yeah. When Xavier caught like a stupid pick, and
he leads the league in interception, so that's just what he does. He's really good.
Yeah. So statistically, it's a great argument, A-Rod versus Pat Mahomes, but it's too close for you to say statistically this is why he should win because all right, stats they're the same.
That's what I'm saying.
Pat Mahomes has like 700 more yards, and then you go eye test. Okay, who wins by the eye test? Pat Mahomes is a much better quarterback.
Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, I tell you.
Pat Mahomes has 700 more yards because Aaron Jones plays for Green Bay and they actually have a running game. They have a more complete offense. If we're being real, Pat Mahomes throws the ball more than Aaron Rodgers does. That's why it is.
If that's the excuse you're going to give, then okay.
You can't go wrong. No, but bro, come on. They have old ass Le'Veon Bell and Edwards Hilaire, who's nice. Those guys are nice running backs, but they're not no Aaron Jones. They don't have the running game that Green Bay does. I think
it's just the offense that they run to. I mean, it's not Pat's fault. That's just the offense that they run. Andy Reid like to throw, and you have you have a quarterback whose arm is gifted by God, who can make any throw from any angle with either hand. He can do anything. So I mean, that's just the offense that they like to run. So I wouldn't fault him for necessarily the throwing. That's just their offense. You know, that's just what it means. Still, they don't run the ball either. You know what I mean? And that's why Ben over 5,000 yards a couple of years ago. It's not Pat's fault. It's just that's just the offense he runs. He's 25. I would throw it too. If I had Pat, I'd be throwing it too. I would throw it 40 times a game if I had Patrick Mahomes.
At least.
I think they're gonna give it to Rodgers because it's the end of his career. I think that's where they're gonna give it to him. But
within MVPs are decided by storyline. It's a better story. He's old. He's old and he hasn't won one in a while, and it's a better story. That's what it fits the narrative. Like Giannis last year, it's a better story. Kid comes from Greece. Unfortunately he was dirt poor. All this, it's a better story. That's what MVPs are decided by. And Pat's not a great story. We know what Pat is. He threw for 50 touchdowns a couple of years ago. Won a Super Bowl. We know what Pat is. I know what Patrick Mahomes is. He's going to be great for the next 50 years. Aaron Rodgers is what I don't know. He's in his 40s. Yeah, that's just a better story.
Yeah, I agree. So I think Pat Mahomes. Well, I give Pat Mahomes MVP, but I also think that they're going to give it to Aaron Rodgers just because they're going to say, well, they've been playing close. Even if Aaron Rodgers isn't a better player, they're going to say, well, he's much older, so let's probably give it to him. And I was one of the people who counted him out. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't say count him out, but I didn't think he was going to get better this year. Before the year started, I was,
drafting Jordan Love.
Huh?
After they
motivated. I think that motivated him.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people talk down on him this year because you were saying, he's 37 this year. He's already had a few injuries. He's been out the last 2 years. He's had some pretty bad injuries.
People forget, bro. Before Pat Mahomes was doing what he's doing, that was Aaron Rodgers. That's really what it was.
To a certain extent, yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers was the most talented quarterback I've ever seen until Pat Mahomes became in the league. That's what it was.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
But I think Aaron Rodgers heard a lot of the talk of people saying he's on his way out. And so that Aaron Rodgers is one of those crazy people that you hear the stories about, like of old greats when you say, oh, this is like he did this to fuel him. I think that's Aaron Rodgers. Like it's a few things where Aaron Rodgers does, and it's like he went off because of some crazy reason. Like I think against I want to say it's against the 49ers. He goes off pretty much almost every time he plays the 49ers because they picked Alex Smith over him. So he hates the Fort. Like he does certain stuff that just gives him fuel. And I think that was this year. He heard a lot of people talking and just went crazy.
I think them drafting Jordan Love definitely motivated him because they also the best enemy of great is being good. He had been good for a long time, but when you get it's different when you got the young quarterback coming up behind you because he knows what that's like. He's gonna be hungry. He was the same way when they had Brett Favre. He was hungry. He was ready to learn. He was eager. He knows how that feels. He said, "Hold on, bro. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you what I've been great to do all the time." You hear Derrick Rose when he was winning MVPs. He would always say, like, when I was in high school, no one wanted me. That's bullshit. He was the number one player in high school. Everyone wanted you. Everyone wanted to draft you. Everyone wanted this from you. You hear that all the time from athletes. This is just their unique way, I guess, of psyching themselves out and just refocusing. But like all of them, like LeBron will say all the time, I wasn't supposed to be here. People were counting me out. Like, you're still number one on everyone's board, LeBron. Like, we all know how great you are. You know what I mean? So this is something that athletes just do to psych themselves out.
Yeah. That's
wrap
what
up.
I
I want to ask one opinion from both of y'all. I think a storyline that people really aren't talking about, and I may be reaching here, so call me if I do. But
I know you already know what you're gonna say.
No. It's not about Pittsburgh.
I'm a Steelers fan too, but go ahead.
It's not about Pittsburgh, so you don't got to worry. It's about Kansas City. Kansas City, by the way, is everybody's favorite to win the Super Bowl, right? Okay.
Yeah.
The thing is, there is kinks in that armor that no one is talking about. Kansas City doesn't look as dominant as they did last year. That's what I want to talk about. Kansas City has major holes that can be.
What are the holes?
What are the holes?
Major? Don't
Yeah.
say major holes.
No, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. Their
Don't
offensive
say
line.
major.
No. I'm dead serious, bro. Their offensive line is not as good as it used to be. They just had to go pick up an offensive lineman, Stephon Wisniewski, because their offensive line is hurt. You see Pat Mahomes running around a lot more this year, and it gets masked when you have a great quarterback outside the pocket like Mahomes. But in the playoffs, when it gets nitty gritty, that's there, and their defense is not that good. Is not that good. And in
They
the
weren't that good
playoffs,
last year.
I know.
I don't know if they're a good defense. They have good defensive players, but when it comes down, they're going to make the plays. And here's the thing with the Chiefs: everything you're saying sounds good. If you're not scoring 35, you're not beating them. Period. You're not going to beat them. Here's a team where they've seen pretty much everything. They were down 3 scores last year twice, and they came back and won. They've done it all per se in such a short amount of time. If you're not scoring 35 points, you are not going to beat the Chiefs. And here's the thing: I think there's one team in the AFC that can beat them, and that's the Bills. If the Bills don't beat them, I don't think anyone else can beat them.
I don't think the Bills beat them either.
I don't think they can, but I think that's the only team in the AFC I can see that can beat them. That's the only team.
I think that's the problem, though. That's my thing. Statistically on paper, that makes sense. The only team that should be able to beat the Chiefs is the Bills, right? That's the other really talented team with Josh Allen, the other talented quarterback. But the AFC is deep this year, deep.
This is a thing, though.
No, I'm saying though, like even that last team, that 7th team, can give Kansas City problems. Can they beat them? I don't know. But in the playoffs, wacky shit happens all the time.
The 2 teams that I could even see competing with, I mean, the AFC is loaded, but the Titans and the Colts, the only way I could see them beat, because the Colts beat the Chiefs last year, and it was just strictly time of possession. They ran the hell out of the ball, and Pat just simply couldn't get on the field. That's just really what it was. He just couldn't get on the field, and that's how they beat him. So you can get ball control, just run the ball, 30 times a game, sure. But there's an opposite side to that. Once you go forward now, Pat is going to take them down the field. He's going to score touchdowns. And so you're going to have to keep him off the field, which is easier said than done. Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Tyrann Mathieu, Fuller, they're okay defense. I think they're not as bad as people think. And like I said, this is a team. They were down 3 touchdowns last year, twice, and they came back and won. They've seen it all.
What I'm going to say is first, I think they're only missing one person on the O-line. So I don't think their O-line has dropped off. Like, he's been sacked more times last year than this year. And like you said, he has that ability to get out the pocket. And the scary thing about him is he can also make plays outside the pocket. And it's also, once he gets out the pocket and breaks a play, it's harder to hold the receivers he has because they're super fast. So I'm not going to say that's a negative thing because he's not seeing more sacks this year. The second thing is, let's say you say that they have bigger holes in their offense and or defense. We still don't know, how do you beat them? How do you beat the Chiefs?
Like he said, kick the ball out of Pat Mahomes' hands, and you got to have that potent offense. And you have to have a defense that's capable of getting stops. And if you look in the AFC, there's teams that have those defenses. There is good-ass defenses in the AFC.
The only way there's not a defense that's going to stop the Chiefs from scoring 30.
They're not going to stop them. They're not from 30 in the playoffs. Are you serious?
I bet the Chiefs will score 30 every game in the playoffs. At least 30 every game.
Oh, I'll bet you on that.
We could. You owe me 2 cases of Gatorades. We could bet another case of Gatorades.
Double or nothing you on that. I really don't think they're gonna score 30 points every game.
They're gonna score 30 points.
I may be talking crazy, but I'm dead serious. I think when it comes to the cold weather, home field advantage has gone to the playoffs. If they get in, my sleeper pick is Baltimore. I'm dead serious. They're red hot right now. No one's talking about them. And you're saying they don't have a passing game, so they had to come from behind. But listen, my point is, no one is talking about Baltimore right now. You know what the game plan is going to be, is stop the run and make sure Lamar doesn't go and have that run offense going. But that passing offense is starting to come alive. It has these last 2 weeks. Look at it. Go look at the film. This is starting to look nice. Lamar is looking like Lamar of last year right now. And I know in the playoffs, I know it. I said it last year when everyone was all on Lamar. They were like, oh, Lamar and Pat, that's going to be the AFC Championship. Like, bro, Lamar's not going to win a playoff game this year. It happened. Corey, you called me crazy, and it happened. But I'm saying this year, I really think Lamar can win a game or 2 in the playoffs.
They're sneaky. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say last two games they played the Giants and the Jags. So I mean everybody's passing game should be on point when those are your last two games, the Giants and the Jags. They both. So I'm not gonna give them any type of they're coming along when they played those two teams at the end of the season, and then they're gonna play the Bengals. And so
aren't those perfect tune-up games for the playoffs though?
Huh?
Perfect tune-up games for the playoffs.
I didn't say that one more time. I didn't hear you.
Perfect tune-up games for the playoffs.
But I'm not gonna say his passing game is so much better because he played them. Like I'm not gonna say their passing game is coming along because he's gonna play 10 times better defense than those two teams.
With the Ravens, like they're definitely a sneaky team. I agree with them because they're getting hot at the right time. I think this is the right time to get hot, and we've seen this before. Teams get hot a couple of weeks before the regular season, and they do pop. The thing is with Lamar, I don't trust him when he's behind when he comes behind game when he's like if he's losing, I don't trust him to come back. He's done like once or twice in his career so far. He's still very young, but he's been in games where it was winnable and he couldn't come back and win. And then thing is, I've been telling people this since Lamar popped. They don't have that many good offensive weapons. Lamar is his own unique weapon that we just haven't really seen in 15 years. But Marquise Brown, he's a little bit above average. He's very, very fast, but coming as your number one receiver, I don't think so. Willie Snead couldn't start for another team in the NFL. Literally, he would not start for another team in the NFL. Miles Boykin, I guess he's coming along, but I don't. Is he really? Mark Andrews is really good. I think he's a B+ tight end, and they have the running backs there as well. But I don't. Again, they put a Chiefs. I don't know. I don't think you're outscoring the Chiefs because once the magic number is like 35, you're not scoring that. I don't know. I don't think you're going to be able to beat them.
I think this year's Ravens team is going to be just like last year's Tennessee team. That's what I'm saying. Will they beat Kansas City?
No Super Bowl.
No Super Bowl. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm saying they're going to be sneaky.
Yeah, they're definitely a sneaky play. They are. I mean, they still have. Yeah, they're in the playoffs after today, but no, they're definitely sneaky. It won't surprise me if they upset some teams. They're hard to prepare for, but they're going to be playing likely like the Bills or something in the first round. I'll take the Bills. Their defense hasn't even played as well as it's supposed to be. I'll take the Bills. I'm okay with that matchup. Trent Edmonds and Poyer and Micah Hyde and Tre'Davious White. I'm okay.
Yeah, I am too. So I guess we'll wrap up. So Mike, are we betting this case of Gatorade, bro?
Yeah, double or nothing.
We're going double or nothing.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Somebody's calling the house phone.
You good?
Do I still have a house phone in 2020?
Man, I'm at my grandma's house, bro.
Okay.
My grandmother, she turned 95 this year, so many blessings.
That's a blessing. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
95. That's crazy.
Yeah. So so double nothing with Chiefs scoring 30 points a game. So that's pretty much everything. Like I said, Tobias, we appreciate you for coming out and taking your time to. It's been long overdue, bro.
Nah, for sure. We all just been busy trying to stay healthy and stay safe in these crazy times we're going into. Hopefully 2021 will be better.
Yeah. So happy New Year's to everybody. This Real Cap Talk. I'm Corey.
I'm Mike.
And our special guest.
Right. Yeah, everyone just stay safe, man. Y'all please wear a damn mask so we can get back to normal. I want to go back to sporting events again. I want to get back to doing stuff and back to regular life.
Yeah.
Regular life. We all have to, agree and just come together and just wear these stupid masks and we can be done. Other countries have done it. They don't got any more cases. We can do it too.
Yeah. No cap.
No cap.
Stop recording.